of voting by that same half hour. A judge has to rule on that. In total, statewide, 4 million Georgians voted early.
Is that going to work
Secretary of
now?
State
Is that working?
Brad Raffensperger is expecting another million to vote today. So that's
There
5
we
million
go.
votes that need to be counted.
There we
An
go.
election that officials have promised will be fast, fair, accurate, and transparent. Lindsay and Vlad?
All right, Mark Schrossman in Atlanta for us, where they tend to report right after the polls close, so we'll be watching. Ed O'Keefe is back with us, along with our political panel, Chuck Rocha and Matt Gorman. Chuck is a Democratic strategist who formerly served as a senior advisor for Senator Bernie Sanders' 2016 and 2020 presidential campaigns, and Matt Gorman is a Republican strategist who served as a senior communications advisor for Senator Tim Scott's presidential campaign. Great to have all of you here at the table. Welcome. All right, so Chuck, let's begin with you. 2 years ago at this point, there was a lot of talk of a red wave. I think what's been fascinating over the last couple of weeks especially is to see how cautious pollsters are going into tonight. No one wants to be caught red-footed the way that they were back in 2016 and the way that they were 2 years ago. What's going on?
You're exactly right. And what they didn't account for is new voters. And I was talking about this earlier in the green room about we don't know who these new voters are that are showing up. It looks like, from all indications, that vote is up. Like more folks are voting. When we do
There
polling,
we
look
go.
at
Okay,
a
awesome.
guesstimation of what voted the last time. 2020. That's the last
Great.
election we had. But
All
it
right.
was a presidential election.
Oh.
And it was up there. And
Now
what
it's all
they're
actually finally fucking
very
working.
cautious to your point about it.
It's
They don't wanna
actually
make that mistake.
working.
So they're estimating that it'll
Thank
be about the same as 2020.
Christ.
I remind everybody, and we were talking about it, it was easier to vote in 2020 because of COVID. So everybody's being super cautious, but when you have a big turnout, there's no telling who that big turnout's going to help because you don't know who the big voters are because they weren't polled.
So, Matt, Trump's final message has bordered on dystopian.
Sorry,
We heard
Steam.
from Drew
Sorry,
Gadonian in Michigan,
Steam.
who said that that's speaking to maybe some fear that voters have about where the country is headed. Do you think that that helps appeal more to his base, or do you think that his closing message has swayed some?
I don't really care that that was shown. Everyone knows what my Steam account is. I doubt he'd be able to find it anyway. There's so many people that are called Deku on there.
What we're seeing is also now, to Chuck's point, we don't also know how to quantify momentum. This new era where you've been voting for a month already, right? Do you peak a week and a half ago? Do you peak today? Obviously, you'd want to peak in both places, but really, it's not always possible. And you've also seen the message evolution from, say, the Harris campaign, right? They're talking about something today that was very different than a week ago when they're talking about democracy on the National Mall. So what we're still figuring out
There
is,
we go.
and I
And
think
we'll
this
keep
will
that
tell
right
us
there.
a lot tonight. As you go into the full month of voting, right? It's no longer one day like it was in 2000, 2004, where everybody kind of jammed in one. How do you evolve your message strategy? How do you evolve a campaign where you're going to have highs and lows just that month when people are going to the ballot box?
Ed, you want to jump in?
Well, I'm just curious. You guys do a lot of work down the ballot as well. You got any bright spots tonight or races you're watching beyond the presidential race?
A couple of things, bellwethers to look for in the House. Pennsylvania 7, Susan Wild up in Lehigh County.
I'm more focused on my races. I'm watching NASCAR, baby. I'm watching NASCAR. That's the way.
Alyssa Slotkin going to run for Senate. That's Oakland
Okay.
County. That's swing district. Open seat. Again, if Republican Tom Barrett wins there,
I think it's so
Trump
funny
set
that
up
these
the-
guys, they're like talking like sports commentators, like, we gotta go with this, and then that, and they're like,
I've been on that campaign for almost 2 years. I was reminiscing coming up here about our kickoff was in January of 2023. He may overperform the top of the ticket by 6 points. And so if he does that, that's going to tell us something about what's the difference between the campaign Ruben Gallego ran and the campaign that Vice President Harris ran.
Do you think Arizona will be a split ticket with Gallego and Trump both taking it?
I can tell you, since people are already voting, there is a large percentage of Trump Gallego supporters.
Who is
in
this
Arizona.
guy?
That
Is this the guy
fascinating.
named
The other
Chuck?
thing I think is really sort of interesting, and both of you guys can talk about this, is gender in this race. I mean, I've seen the very online young men who support Donald Trump getting online and saying, get out there and vote. But we're seeing an enormous amount of women going to the polls. Back in 2020,
I think gender does play an enormous role in this election, specifically because sexism is still a very prevalent issue in this country. It might not seem like that because of what Americans say online, but you also have to remember not all of America is online or in those spaces. So I would not be surprised if Trump wins purely because Kamala is a woman, and a woman of color at that. The silent majority is a very real thing, and the country is 100% divided, like hugely divided. down the middle with Trump and Harris and red versus blue just in general, right?
Messaging work on this men vote, and I think the Iowa poll told us or gave us a glimpse into something. Not one poll means anything, but that poll in a very wide area. Me and Ed spent a lot of time in Iowa together, actually. It's a very wide area. It showed me that white women are really showing up, but independent white women and Republican white women, who we assume was some kind of a shadow vote, but nobody could prove it. It just gives you a glimpse that that could be happening.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of white women, specifically Republican white women, that are showing up a lot nowadays. Like they are some of the most vocal Trump supporters I have ever fucking seen in my entire life, which is an incredible surprise to me. Well, not really surprise, but surprise that they're becoming so vocal, because they exist. A lot of people think that, like, almost infantilize women in a way, being like, oh, they can do no wrong. Are you fucking kidding me? They're human too. Yeah, they will fuck up, and they can fuck up. They're Republicans. That's kind of like what happens with them. So yeah, this is one of the big elections where, much like 2016, a lot of women are coming out to vote, and that's a very good thing. But at the same time, in my opinion, it doesn't fucking matter who wins this election. It does not. It will get worse. If any of you have seen my election 2024 video that I just posted, it is going to get worse. It will get worse, no matter who. It might just be pushed off for a little bit. We might get Roe v. Wade back, right? We'll get gender affirming care and all this other stuff, but things like rent is still going to go up. The housing crisis is still going to go up. We're still going to get price gouging. We're still going to get corruption. We're still going to have insider trading inside of Congress and the Senate and so on and so forth. And we're still going to have career politicians that are going to be playing this game for money and for keeps and everything like that, right? This is a game to them, and not in a game to where they want the best outcome. They just want the best outcome for them. So that's a very big thing that a lot of people have to keep in mind. Also, by the way, yes, I know I do have a little bit of a scruff on my face. It's No Shave November. It's to raise awareness for all sorts of men's issues, from prostate cancer to mental health and all sorts of other stuff, testicular cancer, all sorts of other stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I am doing No Shave November, seeing how long I can do it, until I start hating men. I'm kidding. I'm a man. I'm saying that. Until I get fed up with, and until I get fed up with not being clean shaven, and it gets too itchy, and I just say fuck it. So yeah. Say hi, everyone in chat. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. The Chat GBT revolution. Actually, I think this was a good time since I'm going to be live. I don't know if this will ever get clipped or not, but I do think the Chat GBT is a very good tool to be used. But I also think that Chat GBT can be very bad. In terms of research, it's basically just a better fucking Google, right? But in terms of being like a creative outlet and like giving you ideas, you can rubber duck off of it, right? You can like, and so on and so forth. It can give you ideas, but you should not use those ideas. It should then be twisted in your own internal mind, right? And it should not write for you. Absolutely not. It is a tool. It is not a creative. It is not a creator. So, yeah. Let's see what else they're talking about right now. By the way, if anyone's wondering like why I have it muted in the background, because mainly I'm here for the little down in the corner, and I do not want to fucking I do not want to go through Fox News. So yeah, I don't want to do that. I do not do it. Whoopsie daisy.
Codify abortion rights to the state's constitution, and Proposition 314 would allow the state to arrest migrants if they are suspected of crossing this border behind me illegally. Crossing this border is already a federal crime if you do so without the permission of Customs and Border Protection, Vlad and Lindsay. But Proposition 314 would turn it into a state crime, giving local law enforcement officials here the power to arrest, jail, and prosecute suspected migrants. And this measure has...
That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. Dude, suspected migrants? Dude, you can do that to fucking anybody. Oh, suddenly somebody doesn't speak English? Okay, go barge down their door with a search warrant and say, oh, well, you're a migrant. You don't speak English.
Now you're going to add immigration crimes on there, too. I don't have the infrastructure.
Shut the fuck up, Whitey. Shut up.
I would not enforce that law because, A, I think it's dangerous. We're going to get sued for racial profiling. And B, this has already been adjudicated by the courts and has been determined to be unconstitutional.
Okay, see, this guy is right. But he's a cop, too, so fuck him.
Mark Daniels of Cochise County supports Proposition 314, but he's concerned about not having the manpower, Lindsay and Vlad, or the...
Trump is 78 years old.
He still believes that it will pass because he believes...
Harris is 60 years old. She's 60? She's 60? Maybe she's a little bit of a gilf. I don't know.
States that are not along the border. You've reported on that a ton this cycle. What have you learned in places like Ohio?
Well, look, we know that, for example, in Ohio, the town of Springfield has become an epicenter of our national debate, our polarizing debate over...
Arizona being like a red state is the funniest fucking shit ever, because they're right next to the border, dog.
That obviously is not true.
You have people coming in all the fucking time and are migrant workers and all sorts of other shit, and you fucking hate them.
Resources, hospitals, and housing, but obviously the comments made by former President Trump and Vance were false, and they really just illustrate how politicized our immigration debate here in the U.S. has become.
Oh, of course it's politicized. That's what they want. They want it to be politicized for their own agenda. Some of them believe it. Trump absolutely believes it. St. Louis Park, Minnesota? Polls close at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m.
Right now. We got something crazy. And reach for the stars.
Here we are.
Todd.
Yes, it's my comeback.
Hey, this is pretty fun. But wait, there's more.
Experience thought-provoking,
Welcome to the idea of being a human being.
innovative, and truly original reporting.
Look through a telescope at gold.
Yeah, way to go, CBS. You got you're
CBS Sunday
you're a pundit for certain political agendas.
Terrorists could be plotting another attack. 9/11 triggered a counter-terrorist system that included a secret database.
This person needs a closer look.
A growing list of nearly 2 million people, including some Americans who say they're innocent.
Or one out flight.
I'm on that list. I'm on that list.
CBS reports
I'm not.
explores
Of course I'm not.
responsible for it, and
I'm not a minority. Why would I be on that list?
Fighting against them. I'm fighting for them to do the right thing.
The watch list now streaming on the
Suspected terrorists. Suspected terrorists. What? They're all a bunch of Muslims?
Anytime you want, anywhere you go, with the 48 Hours podcast.
Yeah, I'm muting this shit. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my fucking god. Jesus. It is, it's crazy. Like, 9/11 is hilarious, and people will take this out of context, but it is, right? It was used so much in school and everything like that we've become desensitized to it, and then we don't get told the fact that we killed like millions of Muslims and like Middle Eastern people because of that, right? We mostly civilians, but like, oh, we got Osama bin Laden. Don't mind the fact that, like, you know, like, Rolling Thunder, was it Rolling Thunder or Desert Storm, right? And all this other shit. Yeah, you should fight for Haiti. But are you really fighting for Haiti, or are you just gonna let them help them a little and then leave? That's going to be the real question. But really, it is really crazy to see all this other shit that's going on and all this stuff that's being talked about right now on CBS. Like, dude, it's fucking nuts. It is nuts. And it all flashes by so quickly. You can't really talk about it. And that's like one of the points, right? It flashes by so quickly is to like not to brainwash. I'm not saying that. But it's kind of just a really rapid fire so you don't have time to think about it too much. Because that is certainly one of the goals is for you to think and not really like just listen and not think. But you know, God, that's giving me a headache just thinking about all that shit.
You might expect races to be called.
And O'Keefe is back with us. I told him he couldn't get rid of us. Alongside our Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Skanga and election law expert David Becker. Good to see both of you. You know, Nicole, we know there was an incident at the U.S. Capitol today. What can you tell us?
Oh, what?
Yeah, the U.S. Capitol Visitor Center was closed this afternoon after Capitol Police arrested a man who was carrying on his person a torch and a flare gun during their security vetting process. The Capitol Police chief saying during a news conference moments ago that he smelled like fuel. And according to a Capitol Police spokesperson, the man was in his late 20s and was submitted to this routine screening at the visitor center when police arrested him. Police also saying he
was he going to self-immolate?
To Congress, of course, Congress right now is not in session, but the House is scheduled to meet for a brief pro forma later today. There's no indication as of this point that this threat is connected to the election, and of course, right now in D.C., U.S. Capitol Police.
Oh, there's guys, there's no way that this is connected to the election at all. You know, it's election day. Somebody rolls in smelling like gasoline, carrying a torch and a flare gun. Definitely not related to the election, guys. Guys, this is definitely not related to the. Yes, somebody was about to roll up in there and self-immolate. Now that's one of the problems with Democrat news anchorages and coverage is they make everything palatable, right? They will make crimes and so on and so forth palatable, and they will say it in such sanitized language that that it's one of those things like manufacturing consent. But at the same time, it makes it okay to listen to, right? They will talk about, crimes in Gaza and Palestine and everything like that, but it won't sound bad from their angle because they sanitize it so much. And that's one of the biggest things with the left, not left, but I'm talking Democrats, right? And liberals in America, is that that's kind of their goal is their goal is progress, but only for America. That is their goal. It is to benefit shareholders and so on and so forth, make capitalism a fair game and so on and so forth, and to make sure that everyone lives equally, but things like foreign policy and crimes and so on and so forth continue because it furthers their agendas and lines pockets and so on and so forth, but they make it more palatable, they make it more sanitized, they make it more official sounding so that they can allow it to continue and still benefit them, right? And that's one of the things with why I say this is with the news source and news journalism. When it comes to things like CBS and CNN, when stuff like this happens, they will always sit in middle ground. They will we don't know for sure, we don't know for sure, we don't know for sure. It's not confirmed, it's not confirmed, it's hearsay, so on and so forth. despite the fact that like non-credible bomb threats and so on and so forth. Yeah, of course people are going to be calling in bomb threats. Yes, someone walked in to the Capitol covered in gasoline ready to immolate himself. Yes, of course that's what's going to happen. It's fucking election day. This is America. That is what's happening. Duh. Yes, that is, you can say for certain, right? But but only the right speaks in certainties, right? Only the right speaks in fear and everything like that. I'm not speaking in fear because I'm not saying lies. I'm not saying shit that's just random bullshit, right? Saying that there are people are flying in on migrant planes and private jets and whatever. I'm saying that a guy that walks into the like soaked in gasoline is probably a Republican that is voting for Trump and wants to cause up a stir, right? He probably is a Klan member, maybe a Nazi, maybe a fascist, maybe something along those lines, right? But supposedly those are such politically charged terms that, oh, you can't say for sure. You don't know for sure. Yes, I do. Because if it was someone on the left going and doing that, they would have had a sign on it and doing something, and they would have probably gotten away with it. And they would have been smarter about it too. But then again, if they're a Democrat, they probably wouldn't have done it in the first place anyway. They do not have the balls to stand up for something like that, to believe in something like that. So yeah. Get out of my country. This country was built by immigrants and on immigrants, but people supposedly want to deny that. Let's not forget all the millions of natives that we killed to then take their place and say, we don't want immigrants, says the immigrant. Ooh, salami. That's salmon. I meant salmon. Fuck. Yeah, that's dope. Okay, this is dope. Handing out food. Is it free? Should be. Catered meals for free for people that are homeless and in need of food. That should be something that is like mandatory, right? Oh, that's cool. Turning food away. Yeah, that's cool. But people might be turned away from that though because you're showing pictures of garbage trucks, right? When in reality, food waste is usually things like egg yolks or egg whites that are put to waste, or like peels, or like how oxtail used to be, like a trash part that was sold, but is now like a luxury item, right? That's food waste, or quote unquote food waste, right? Or ham hock, which is like the lower part of a pig's back thigh, is usually seen as food waste or an undesirable part of an animal, despite the fact I would eat every part of a pig or a cow. Maybe besides the testicles. It might be too salty for me. Maybe just a weird texture because I'm autistic, but like I eat ribs. I eat every cut of pork. I've eaten every part of a chicken. I've had chicken legs. Like chicken feet. I'm pretty sure they are very fucking crunchy. God. What else? I've eaten bones. It is a lot. Oh yeah, that is another thing with like Democrat news sources and everything. They're supposedly uplifting, but by also not reporting on things that matters, because it's complacency, um and like allowing shit to happen, as opposed to things like actually saying uplifting stories, right? Such as struggles in Gaza, that are actually uplifting stories and so on. But hey, Zionist run shit that are backing and funding these people because Israel is a U.S. puppet, right? So we can't let criticism of one of our allies get out. We can't let that happen. We'll be labeled anti-Semitic, despite the fact that speaking out against Zionism is not anti-Semitic. It is anti-Semitic to support Zionism because these are people that corrupted the Jewish fate. I was in the middle of saying Judaism and Jewish. Judaism into being something of colonism and colonialism and imperialism and all this other stuff, right? Saying that it's their right to own a sect of land and everything like that. No, it is not. I feel bad for every single Jew out there that has to put up with being associated with Zionist. Utterly despicable. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Especially because of the fact that that Zionists are committing a second Holocaust, and people like Kamala are just allowing it to happen. They would rather a ceasefire happen on both sides and then just allow the destruction to stay as is than to actually help or do anything along those lines, right? But then again, that's fascism for you. That's fascism for you, because Israel is fascist. They're pulling out of Lebanon right now. But guess what? It's because they got in over their head, not because they want to actually pull out. It's because they sent 50,000 troops over there, and now suddenly they're like, oh, fuck, maybe we shouldn't be doing this head on like this. But, God, I guess we'll be having a woman president. That's good, right? But ignore the atrocities that the U.S. is funding around the world. Ignore the fact that we are occupying so many places all over the place, right? Ignore the global south and everything that goes on there, right? Continue the embargoes on Cuba, and then we can then blame them for being poor, despite the fact that per capita GDP, despite it being only about nearly $8,000, $7,800, they have a higher literacy rate across the board than America's per capita of 80,000, which is also, you need to take in mind, that's $7,800 GDP per capita while being barely the size of a state. So, former President Trump spending election night in Florida. Of course he is. Go put on a visibility vest. You're about to start working at McDonald's, boy. He does love his McDonald's. He loves Elon Musk, too. Two fat boys sitting and eating the hearts of the poor. Of course they'd get along. Of course they would get along. Yet, former prosecutor and attorney general, not a good thing. Not a good thing. Especially with all the shit that happened under her terms as prosecutor and attorney general. She is very, very back the blue, despite the fact that there is a good chance that she might demilitarize the police to some degree, right? But she will still allow the police to have basically be the at-home military force for America and allow them to continue this shit that happens, despite the fact that many of the police force there disagree with her and don't like her in the first place. Which just goes to show how divided everything is, even down to a state level, down to a precinct level, if I may say. I should probably have something on in the background, but I don't think that I'm like allowed to what's it called? Like, what is it called? Stream music in the background because of like copyright and everything like that. My fucking Batman video got taken down despite the fact that it barely had the music in the background, but Nirvana, I got taken down completely. All right, let's turn the audio back up.
Here at the South Philadelphia High School, where we have been camped out since this morning, and the campaign is feeling optimistic, Vlad, and that's because they say they've left it all on the field. They've worked on this for months now, and in the past weekend alone,
I need water.
Pennsylvania, volunteers knocked on 1.5 million doors.
Oh, my
so
calf.
we have heard from them that their ground game is extremely robust, that they have been connecting with voters, and of course we know the vice president spent the entire day in this state yesterday as she closed her campaigning with a massive rally here in Philadelphia. And so
yeah, massive rally while Trump makes massive Nazi rallies. That's awesome. I really do think that I honestly don't know who will win. I have a feeling that it'll be Harris, simply because of people willing to go out and obviously the woman aspect of it. But the other part of it is also the fact that there's a good chance that she will lose because she's a woman and she's also a woman of color. So oh yeah, Trump has been like pulling out all the stops to try and come off as a person for the working class and like blue collar workers, despite the fact that people like farmers and so on are typically sometimes millionaires and have their own businesses and are far like the furthest fucking thing from blue collar. Just because you have dirt on your hands and calluses does not mean that you are blue collar, right? You own acres and acres and acres and acres of land and have entire fleets of people below you that you do not pay well. You are not of like the working class, right? not to get, oh my god, holy shit, I'm about to like completely date myself and like out myself, but I don't give a fuck. Like that is what is called like petite bourgeoisie, right? You are rich, but in a very small, localized scale, right? You are the elite, but in a very localized scale that also abuse workers and so on and so forth, and garner wealth through immoral means and so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, that's people like that are out in the rural parts that own multi-million-dollar ranches and everything like that is a big deal to like get that vote for. But then again, I also want to mention all this shit of Trump cosplaying as, you know, blue collar and everything like that with like a high visibility vest and doing all this stuff with like the garbage truck and McDonald's. I want you to keep in mind Benito Mussolini, the literal inventor of the term fascists, did the exact same thing by taking pictures out in the field, like harvesting wheat and crops and everything like that to show that he is a member of the people, despite the fact that he was most certainly not. He was most certainly not. So, yeah. Yeah. Uh-uh. 270 to win. Uh, so I know that I'm probably like really doing the I'm really early into this, but I wanted to catch the bird early, as they say. Um, Even though it's only about 5 o'clock for them out there, and it isn't until 8:30 that the polls close, and we'll be getting uh, shit. Anything really. Most important is through state of democracy. That that right there, that right there is the biggest buzzword that is going around currently on the election is the state of democracy, right? Despite the fact that people are talking about democracy on both sides, despite the fact that one is allowing the like perpetuating literal fascism. Not even in like a catch-all, oh, well, he's a bad guy, he's Nazi, KKK. No, literal, by definition, fascism. And then there's also like fucking Harris over here that is doing the exact same fucking thing, but in a more palatable way. Like, it is. It is worse than it was 4 years ago, but that's also because of shit with with corporations doing price gouging and all sorts of other stuff, and the price of oil going up, and taking advantage of the situation that came from the pandemic and everything along those lines, right? It is. I gotta slow down, dude. I gotta slow down. I've only been live for 40 minutes. I'm getting so heated. I'm not even like mad or anything. I'm just getting really passionate. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta like duck out of the way of the camera and not show my underwear on camera. we go. An entire jug of lemonade, a hint of lime chips, and a bunch of Reese's because Halloween. Whew. I really do not want to be watching any of this. But it's my democratic duty to make fun of all these people out there. Right there. And that whole thing about the popular vote, that is a big part of it. No matter what happens today, no matter who gets elected, it does not matter who actually wins president until the electoral colleges go through. And that is the biggest bullshit ever in America, right? That is so bullshit. Most important issue, men. Yeah, when you live in a state of patriarchy, yeah, it is. These Hinterline chips almost taste like Fruit Loops. I'm eating. I have not eaten at all today, but I do not want to make a meal, so I'm just going to be snacking. Still manufacturing consent for 9/11, I see. Too bad Gen Z just makes a bunch of Among Us fucking Squidward house memes. We do not give a fuck about 9/11 anymore. I feel bad for all the innocent people that died, but I feel worse for all the innocent people that died in the Middle East because of us. Right? Everything that we did in the Middle East caused 9/11 to happen. It did. Because of what we did in the Middle East in the 90s and up into the 2000s and even before that with what Russia was doing after the fall of the Soviet Union and then in the Middle East and everything like that, allowed for things to arise in the Middle East that caused 9/11 to happen. And if you don't think that that's how that worked, sorry, you may or may not be an idiot. Arkansas. 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 Trust more to handle abortion? Harriet? Well, of course. These are questions that are aligned to certain sides of the aisle, dude. Of course that one is going to be viewed over the other. Because American politics it's always down to one or the other. despite the whole fact between conservative and liberalism, the whole, okay, theoretically the point is that both have right answers. You just pick and choose which is right depending on the situation, not wholeheartedly black and white, this one, not the other at all, right? But both are so extreme while also being so center right. But one's all the way over to the right, and then one is center right, right? And it's fucking crazy. U.S. support for Israel is about right. Thank you, 29% of people. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely a fucking disgrace. Islamophobia and racism is so deeply embedded into American psyche that you can literally show them an active second Holocaust happening, and they will say, yeah, but what about the people that that say that they're Jewish, right? And like, it's one of those things of like misplaced progressivism, or like misplaced optimism and everything like that. Is they're like, oh, but Israel, they're Jewish, right? We have to support Jewish people. Yes, support Jewish people, but don't fucking support Israel. They're Zionists. They're fucking weapons manufacturers, dude. If you are a Call of Duty fan or a shooter fan, 3 of your favorite guns were made in Israel by Israelis. The Uzi, the Desert Eagle, and the fucking Galil were all made by Israel. The fucking Deagle was made as a sidearm for Israelis' IDF forces. That's fucking insane. A 50 AE as a sidearm. At that point, they were still at war with Palestine in Gaza, right, in the West Bank and everything like that. They just wanted to fucking kill some Palestinians, dude. The economy is shit because of the system that play, not because of anything else. That abortion rate should be way, way higher, because it's not just about abortions. It's about reproductive rights, and you, as a woman, or anyone with a vagina, having the right to say over your body, instead of some man with gray hair and a fucking multi-million-dollar mansion. I like how vague state of democracy is, by the way. It's so vague. Like, what part of democracy? Voting? Foreign policy? At home? In state of affairs? Like, what? So did you guys vote for today? Who'd you guys vote for? I voted specifically for resurrected Frederick Douglass. I actually didn't vote. I did not vote today. I did not want to vote. I am not participating. If you want to vote, go for it. absolutely 100% go for it. But I already made an entire video on that I put up today. I like the whole thing with the federal aid going to hurricane people. That's awesome. That is fantastic. But how much is aid? How much is that? Not financially. I'm talking like how much aid are we talking? Are we just talking bare minimum, or are we talking like a lot? Or are we talking complete utter dedication? Or are we going to like ignore things like Puerto Rico, right? Are we just going to like, ignore them despite the fact that they're one of our territories? We all know that Trump will definitely care about the hurricanes when it comes to Florida because one of his properties might get fucked up. Are cartels winning? That depends, especially where you look. There's a lot of American things that back cartels. So if it wasn't for certain issues that persisted because of other things that had happened because of the U.S. in the global South, things like cartels wouldn't need to exist, or suspectedly wouldn't need to, like, because that's one of the reasons why is because of a lot of different things. That is a whole fucking other can of worms. That is a whole another can of worms. I think we should all vote for Joe Biden. I think we should all vote for Joe Biden again. Hello, Casey. Hold on. That is because my mic is all the way over here. So it was not in front of me. I was eating and didn't want to crunch directly into the mic. Hello, 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 hello. I haven't checked my viewer count. Hold on. I can't actually directly see it on my second monitor. I have to check my phone to do that. Oh, actually, wait. Hold on. There we go. That should also work. I always have to like adjust my volume depending on what like thing I'm playing. Because whenever I go to edit, it. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, it was my gain. Hi, hello, hi. Yes. Welcome to election day in this hellhole. But yeah, when I usually have to lower my gain either because I'm too loud and I'm over my game, or so it's whenever I go to edit, the video that I bring in actually gets adjusted so that you can hear me well, but you can also hear the game well too. That's why a lot of my videos have really good audio mixing, but I completely forgot to fix that when I was live, so. Yeah, the delay is about 60 seconds. That's just in case like some shit happens and I need to like stop or whatever. And if you're wondering why the news is muted, it's to save any viewers from hearing literally all of the shit that they're saying. But I'd rather listen to CBS than watch Fox News, so. You asked that right. You asked that right after I answered it. That's funny. Yeah, the news in the background is muted, particularly because they're not really saying anything about like numbers yet, because voting only like just started a few hours ago and it won't stop, and we won't get official numbers until 8:30 ET. So, yeah, and I really don't want to hear all of the bullshit that they're saying with all sorts of other stuff, right? Like, they talk about, like, Israel, and, like, you'll see it pass along the bottom, like, them talking about, like, is our support of Israel good? And, like, it's honestly just a bunch of fucking disheartening bullshit. But again, I would rather watch this than watch Fox News, where I just have to hear a bunch of racists talk all the time. I'll answer that right now, actually. No, I didn't vote. I did not vote because I do not I am not going to become complacent in genocide and allow my vote to go to either party that will further the agenda of said genocide. So, yeah, I did not vote. Nor did I protest vote for a third party. So, I just could not be fucked to ask to do it. So. I talked a lot about a lot of stuff in my election video. Actually, I did not mean for it to turn into a 10-minute rant and like reassurance video of being like, help your communities, shit's gonna get worse, so you need to be there for each other. But yeah, that's what happened. I ended up I ended up sounding like a quote unquote radical terrorist, but surprise, surprise, I just want people to live. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I will turn the volume up and down over time depending on whenever I feel like they might be talking about something good, but usually whatever they're talking about is like changed automatically right below them, so you never really have to hear what they're saying. I don't even have my headphones on right now, so. Opinion on Kamala Harris. She's a prosecutor and pro-cop, and as much as she is charismatic, she will also probably make shit worse. Like, yay, we get trans rights and gay rights, and Roe v. Wade come back, but guess what also will happen? We'll also have, like, constant rises in, like, rent and not have affordable health care. And oh wow, all these people have like rights now, but guess what? They're just going to die in other ways, like by starvation or not meeting rent or not being able to pay for food because corporations are like inflating prices and all sorts of other stuff. You're not going to need 2 jobs, you're going to need 3 jobs. Get fucked, asshole. But hey, at least we got a woman president. We can really give a round of applause and say, congrats, Lebanon. Yay for equality. You're going to get bombed by a female president now. I only hope Harris wins because then it'll mean that the campaign for Black Ops 2 will be correct, where there's a female president in 2025. Now all we need is the USS Obama. God, if that fucking game came out today, people would be causing such a big stink about it. They'd be like, oh, what is this woke garbage? I thought this was supposed to be Call of Duty. Yeah. That's why my title says warning political. A lot of people would describe me as extremely radical. Like, I don't label myself, but I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I am not a centrist. I am something that both sides would consider far, far worse than Nazis. But I guess wanting soup kitchens and homeless people to have homes is worse than Nazis. I think in one of Trump's Agenda 47 videos, he directly mentioned banning hormones for trans... Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he 100% did. I actually know exactly what you're talking about. He did talk about that. He brought up a bunch of shit like, oh, they're gonna trans our children and we can't allow this shit to happen. Not even Bernie Sanders, because Bernie... I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you for this, if you didn't already know it, but, like, Bernie also doesn't support Gaza. He supports Israel. Like, he's one of those people that's like, oh, but Israel should exist, but maybe they shouldn't kill so many people. That's the exact way he frames it, right? Like, if you want to put a label on him, he is not like the socialist that people say that he is. He is just like the farthest left you can go for like a Democrat / independent. Which is really unfortunate because like a lot of his policies do sound good. But he's also like really, really old. And if you've paid attention to a lot of the stuff that he's been saying throughout the recent news cycle, he unfortunately like does flip flop a lot between like certain agendas. They are usually left leaning progressive agendas, but like right after October 7th or October 10th with the big bombing that happened in Gaza, where like everything about Hamas first came out and was like exposed to the US. He was one of the first people that came out and was like, I support Israel. But now recently, because so many people have been speaking out against the genocide in Gaza, people are like, he's now like, my brothers and sisters, I think Israel might be a little bit wrong, but there's also terrorists. You know, ignoring the fact that the reason that there's terrorists, quote unquote, heavy quotations, in Palestine is because of the actions done by Israel through constant generational trauma put onto these children. Like, if you were born only a few years ago, you lived through technically 4 wars. throughout your entire childhood if you weren't one of the thousands and thousands and thousands of babies and infants that were killed in bombings. So, yeah, no fucking wonder you grew up resenting Israel and became like a freedom fighter, right? And like joined up with all of them. So, yeah, who fucking wouldn't if the only thing that you know is constant bombing? Because they don't have constant internet access. That's why eSIMs were such a big, or are such a big thing, are such an important thing to get to Gaza. Also, like things like portable water, because their water is is not very good, especially because they border the sea, and surrounding countries kind of pollute the waters, so it's kind of hard for them to make potable. And if you don't know, to make potable means, or portable, I don't know the exact word, but it means to make safe drinking, such as boiling it and making it like disinfected, or like putting it through like iodine and other stuff like that. All right, there we go. Yeah, purifying. Yeah, that's the word, purifying. Yeah, to purify their water. And obviously they don't also have very like constant sources of food. I mean, like the UN will do some stuff, but fucking the UN is bullshit, right? They like for the permanent seats are like Western countries like US, I think France and Britain, uh, and all sorts of other stuff. So like they'll do good stuff for things like Palestine, like on the surface, but then they'll just allow their shit to be fucking destroyed, or allow their UN officers to be shot up and killed by Israelis, right? So, yeah, there's a ton of issues with the UN, especially regarding to the situation in Palestine. Whose extremes are too extreme? Only Trump, only Harris, both, neither. That's fucking crazy. Trust to handle a crisis, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Because definitely Trump handled a crisis well. What the fuck? Good lord. That is horrifying to read. Crime and safety, Donald Trump? The only thing that fucking Trump is going to do is militarize. Dude, yeah. Fucking actual lobotomites, dude. Like genuine lobotomites. Like, fucking crazy. It's fucking nuts. Donald Trump to handle the economy. That's she literally a Marxist communist, and all she said is maybe people should have access to clean drinking water. She's not even a Marxist communist. She's not a commie at all. She's like the furthest fucking thing. She's a neoliberal. Like, if you called her a communist to her face, she would probably get really upset. Like, no one in the current election cycle, besides maybe De La Cruz, is like actually like even somewhat of a socialist, right? And like, if you like, here's socialist and here's communist, right? Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know. I knew that's not what you were saying. Like, I read the quotations. I was just saying, like, in general, and then I was expounding upon that. Because, yeah, it's fucking lunacy. Like, actual fucking lunatics, these guys. Because suddenly, it's, like, a radical thing to want people to have livable wages or clean drinking water or fuck, I don't know. Name a human right. Yeah, the thing is with that is that almost gives the impression that the conservative party has been kind of not justified but kind of reasonable in the past, when as somebody who is not only autistic but has like heard a lot of things growing up from conservatives, they have been like this. It's just that Trump coming around, like, taught them that it was okay for them to shout it as loud as they could instead of being more reserved and quiet about it, right? Sweet the onions. Yeah, yeah. That is the one good thing. That is the one good thing. Uh, yeah, yeah. The onion is very funny, but they are just going absolutely batshit insane because they think that because with Trump and so many people supporting Trump and the way that Trump is so charismatic, um, a lot of people are now coming out of the woodwork to support him as loudly as possible. Now that silent majority is now becoming very vocal. And it's revealing a lot of dirty shit about America as a country, showing that so many of these people had these ideas and have had them for so long. All it took was one guy winning an election, and now suddenly we have the entire state of America right now. What's the Trump clip? This is the one where he almost got shot. I love that one. You should be able to send links. I don't think I've turned that off. I don't think I turned that off. Or if Automod catches it, I will see it and I can copy and paste it and I'll be able to watch it. And if not, you can probably just say the name. Oh, then just say the name of the clip, and I can probably pull it up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let me put my headphones on for this. What the fuck is he talking about? What is he literally talking about? That is fucking crazy. The new norm, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I think that is one of the funniest ways to like funniest conservative pieces of media to backfire in like the past decades. Dude, I think that would raise the people going to school instead of skipping if that was true. Yeah, but that's my thoughts on the new norm. Yeah. I I think it's really funny. Um Not because it's actually a funny show, but I just think that everything in it is fucking stupid and hilarious. Yeah, I guess you could say it's funny and like a laughing at, not laughing with. Gave them $1. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can definitely see that. My Muslim friend gave them $1. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That is actually kind of funny though. Gosh, it's gonna be until 8:30 until actually any other polls come out. Mr. Bertram is queer media. Mr. Bertram, isn't that the fucking guy from Jesse? No. No, 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 no. That is that is something totally different. I will actually pull the I actually sure fuck it. I'll pull this up. I'll watch it right now. Nothing really interesting is going on in CBS anyway. Rolling on the floor laughing. Hey, look, the canyon is grand. I just want to say, if you're trying to be a troll, fucking hilarious. Look, you're being really funny. Thank you. And if you're being legitimate, thanks, I guess. But oh fuck yeah, the Daily Wire, fucking Ben Shapiro's thing. That's funny.
Self-proclaimed efforts to win the culture war. It sees the gruff, manly Richard Bertram trying to educate today's liberal kids the right way and locked in an eternal...
The new norm. I mean, there's plenty of wrong with the new norm, but I think it's fucking hilarious to laugh at. Like, the art style is the way that they depict Elon Musk is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You sound very media illiterate. Uh, you went to college for media literacy and you like the new norm. I think that's a failing of the college education system in America or wherever you are. But I'll see you guys later. Thanks for the good laugh, though. See ya. Do, 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 do. Isn't it so fun having election day? having people come in and do all this shit. But that was funny though. All right, there they go. First ever political stream that I'm doing, and I already had to ban somebody. That is actually really funny. I don't know what they thought was going to happen. I guess they thought that I was going to like get triggered or something. Like I was going to like start like a big fucking argument and be like, oh. I guess. Yeah. I really doubt that guy was from Yemen anyway, seeing as how I'm pretty sure a lot of Yemenis people are having problems with internet. So I'm sure that guy was just talking straight out of his fucking ass, which is really fun. It was really funny.
Battle with the woke DEI warrior, Mr. Carponzi.
I remember this. The fucking.
Probably a little confused right now. I recently made a video that some of you may have seen talking about this show among other things, and in the process of researching that video, learning about this show.
Hold on, let me start over from the very beginning, so I can actually like listen to it.
Mr. Bertram is a recent adult animation project from the Daily Wire, part of the right-wing website / streamer's self-proclaimed efforts to win the culture war.
The culture war. I love that picture.
Manly Richard Bertram trying to educate today's liberal kids the right way and locked in an eternal battle with the woke DEI warrior, Mr. Carponzi.
You know what I find fucking hilarious about this manly guy like doing woodworking and all this other stuff? Obviously, I'm a pretty radical guy, both the cool way and like politically or whatever the fuck you want to label me as. I did 4 years of metalworking. There is a place nearby where I live that's meant for vets, and half of the shit that's there was built by me, and it's still standing. Because it was my advanced metalworking class's like job for that. And I also did woodworking, and I wasn't like a kid that grew up indoors, sheltered or whatever. Like, I was the kid that was constantly fucking outside whittling down sticks into fucking spears. I learned how to hunt when I was like 7 or something by my grandpa. And I also learned a shit ton of gun safety and how to shoot properly and all sorts of other shit when I was not even 13. And that's been ingrained into me to this day. So yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure I'm the exact opposite of what everyone thinks of whenever they think of like a liberal or anything like along those lines of what they might label me as, right? I'm a guy that stands at almost the doctor said almost 6'2". So yeah, almost 6'2" and about 305 pounds, and I go to the gym every day. I'm pretty sure I'm like the exact opposite of the scrawny liberal that most people think about. You can call me racist all you want. I don't really give a fuck. Thanks for coming back with another alt account, though. That's awesome. And it doesn't matter if he's Muslim or not. That doesn't mean that you're automatically intrinsically right. And by automatically intrinsically thinking that somebody is right based on their race, ethnicity, or nationality or belief system, that makes you the racist. I can do this shit all day. I ship them.
Okay, some of you are probably a little confused right now. I recently made a video that some of you may have seen talking about this show, among other things, and in the process of researching that video, learning about this show and the ways it's been received, I picked up on something far weirder than an abysmal quality level, or an ironic leopard save my face style rejection from parts of the Daily Wire's target audience. And that's this show's queer fan base.
Yeah, that is very funny.
They show up on practically any online platform that supports it.
Thank you, Blockhead. Is that because you're being blocked to say anything else bad to me? That's actually pretty funny. You can give me an ultimatum like that, and I don't really give a fuck. On election day, that made you come off as a completely asinine and lunatic. So yeah. Really, truly, I do hope that you have the best rest of your day. Blockhead. That's actually really good. That's a good one. I don't know. I don't know how many alts he has, but that was... Technically, he could have infinite alts, but I think what's even funnier is that this guy comes around to a supposedly irrelevant channel with so many alts, with a stream that has only 5 views. With like 5 views, to say that he's irrelevant and call me a blockhead, that's fucking funny. Nah, I can handle it. I can handle it. Thank you for the offer, though. Oh, shit.
Lavish fan art of Carponzi and old Dick here sucking face. Search for Bircham discussion in text, and you'll see people talking about this show like it's X-rated Heartstopper. The foursome between these four would go crazy. Mr. Bircham's gay daughter respects her dad's...
This guy's eyes look like frogs.
So much. I want to draw Mr. Bircham pregnant, and that one gay teacher holding his belly, smiling at each other, and so on.
That's like the new
accounts doing the standing have
That's like the new norm video of the guy of like the fucking pregnant cat and Norm, like they're both sitting on each other's lap, and the cat's like, I can feel it kicking.
fully committed to the bit. And at first glance, the question of what's going on here seems to have a straightforward answer. It looks like a pretty clear case of cultural hijacking. As we discussed in that last video, Mr. Bircham is intended, at least in part, to serve as a right-wing culture war beachhead. That's not conspiratorial thinking on my part, it's literally how the Daily Wire's streaming pivot was framed at its inception by Wire bigwig Ben Drybones Shapiro. But the power pieces like these have lies as much in the...
I'm so sorry about this guy's wife. Remember whenever people were saying that it's normal for a woman to be wet during sex? And he's like, no, it's not. That is actually a factual myth.
The discussions they prompt in their cultural aftermath as it does in the immediate viewing experience. Think something like Sound of Freedom. What was ultimately a pretty unremarkable text ended up providing a big dumb stick for idiots to bang the groomer panic drum with. Attempts to hijack the discussions around a project like this then, perhaps through, I don't know, widespread ironic standing, through the collective creation of an imagined gay Mr. Bircham show, and crowding out genuine discussion from the Daily Wire's audiences and allies, make as much sense as any other type of online pushback. Maybe a communal...
I think the good thing about that, if it's true, obviously it's just a fucking hypothetical, is that if you have dissatisfied over 100 women, at least you did them the service of setting the bar that low to where everything else after that is at least better. Now they know what bad actually is.
ARG like Gabe Bircham even works better at disrupting culture warring than those alternatives. Given the way some of the target demo reacted to the show as is, you have to imagine at least a few potential Daily Wire Plus subscribers will have come across the show's queer facsimile in the wild and chosen to avoid the platform as a result. Sure, they'd be doing so for the wrong reasons, but less money in the Daily Wire's pocket is no bad thing. And so a narrative begins to offer itself. It looks like people realized all this. It looks like this whole thing, Queer Mr. Bircham, was a semi-organized Zoomer psyop. There are posts and threads here and there where this kind of parallel thinking is visible. It seems that here and there people had this idea and did it, managed to spread...
Yeah, that's hilarious, actually, that, like, this supposed psyop or whatever, like, clearly that's what it was supposed to be. Like, fucking Ben Shapiro was up in, like, this meeting being like, we need to have a woke guy with a man bun and have him be the enemy of the main character. And then, like, everyone started interpreting their, like, hate towards each other and, like, their disagreements almost like a married couple. And, like, that almost was, like, sexual tension, and then they fucking co-opted it. They co-opted the co-opt shit, which is, like, the best fucking outcome.
Read the meme in an attempt to defuse the show's efficacy and staying power. Hence this wholly inauthentic facsimile success, the existence of fan animations like this, to the point that you may well have clicked onto this video from one of the currently booming pieces engaging in this cultural punking. It even spread to the channel's Discord. When I suggested I would be talking about the show, the responses were less about the political Daily Wire side of things than about that fan art.
It's toxic doomed yaoi, my favorite type of yaoi.
Again, that's straightforward. That would make sense as a story, and parts of that are certainly accurate.
Justice, equity, diversity, inclusion. That doesn't sound bad at all, and having that in a conservative cartoon as a bad thing tells you everything you need to know about conservatives. They do not like equity, they don't like diversity, they don't like inclusion. They think, oh, well, if you do it right, no, the fuck, no. If something like Aliens came out today, the thing that they praise for having a real strong female character, they'd fucking hate it and call it woke garbage.
But the truth is stranger, because that very romantic clip I just showed you, that's not a fan animation, that is in the show. And that's not it either.
That's crazy.
There is some amount of textual basis for the standing and counter readings performed by the show's queer fanbase. People were locating stereotypically queer elements in the character design from around the show's release, but as more episodes...
Yeah, that mustache does scream gay, man. Like, all of this, like, screams, I want to be a bear or I'm a bear. Like, 100%.
Rolled out, those locations began to seem less and less shitposty. There's that above sequence, of course, in which Mr. Bircham hallucinates dancing...
Actually, so that's actually a really good question, and if I upload this as, like, a full reaction thing, like all those other popular streamers do, I'll probably cut this out, but I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was really, really young. I think like 7 or 8. But something else was always wrong with me. And things like medicine never really fixed that. And it wasn't until like really, really recently that I was actually diagnosed with autism. And they were like, my psychiatrist was straight up like, yeah, you have ADHD and autism, and you've, from all the stories that you've said from your childhood and from firsthand accounts of like your like parents and shit, yeah, you've had this for like ever, and it's never been like properly treated or like cared for. So yeah, that's how I found out. It wasn't until I was fucking 21 that I found out that I was autistic. But thanks to a lot of my friends that were also autistic, that they were like, yeah, you probably are. I see a lot of myself in you. And on top of that, like, they talk about how like some of their relatives or their siblings had ADHD because sometimes autism is actually mislabeled as ADHD, because a lot of times people think that autism is just is like the stereotype autism: introvert, quiet, oversensory, so on and so forth. But the type of autism I have, I forget the actual label for it, but it's more usually the one that's confused with ADHD. Typically, the person that has it is very much more outgoing. Instead of being hypersensitive to noise, they're hyposensitive to noise. Like really loud noises can't affect them, and they don't realize it. They need constant stimulation. And they're usually like really outgoing people that are they're like really extroverted and everything, really the stereotypical loud personalities and everything like that, as opposed to the stereotype of quiet. So yeah, that mixed with actual ADHD, because I do have literal ADHD where I have dopamine deficiencies in my neuron receptors and all that other shit. Those two mixed together has both helped me a lot in my creative process and my attempt to rule the seas of internet and content creation and all that other shit, but also has been really, really bad because it means that I am not extremely functional in neurotypical society due to focus or things just not holding my attention, or I'm so like unabashedly myself that I come off as rude to people. I'm an asshole and so on and so forth, which is after years and years and years of masking. So yeah. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'll probably go if I keep getting bigger and bigger as a streamer. I'll probably either have to make one of those, what is it, the Jacksepticeye Jaden animation videos where they're like, I have ADHD, but that with autism and ADHD. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That I know that was one of the things that made me want to get re-diagnosed. Um, was just to kind of like reaffirm myself and be like, what's going on here? Why can't I function in a typical work setting? Man, there you go. Yeah, it costs a lot of money, but I had insurance cover it. And if you're not incredibly liquid or have good health insurance, it can cost a lot. I know a lot of people think that like self-diagnosis is a bad thing. I think that self-diagnosis can be give and take, kind of iffy depending on what it is. But look, if you go through like textbooks and video after video, and you have people around you kind of talking about it, and like you start seeing your reflections in other autistic people, and so on and so forth, labeling yourself is not the worst thing possible, right? Especially because it can help you stop any masking that you may have, and allow you to continue being yourself, because you have affirmed to yourself subconsciously that you can be yourself without hiding it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I would definitely say this isn't supposed to like, this isn't me like trying to be like a psych eval or anything like that, or like a therapist. I'm not at all a therapist, but like, hey, if you feel better around people that you vibe with, that is the best thing. That is one of life's greatest joys. is finding people you click with and getting to understand yourself better. Because it wasn't until 2022, when I was already 21, that I started really understanding who I really was and what I wanted to do and everything like that. After so many years of going through my own shit, especially with mental health issues and all sorts of other stuff, right? So life is a journey, right? It is constantly discovering new things about yourself or discovering the world around you, and it makes you a better person because of it. And that's what makes us better than conservatives, because we understand the world around us. You know, as a guy that also stays home a lot, mainly because there's fucking nothing around me to do, besides go work out at the gym and run and bike. That ain't a bad thing, right? Isn't that what we all want to do deep down? Is we want to stay home, do our passions, do our hobbies, and not have to worry about shit? Like, that's the human dream, right? Doing what you want and just sitting in your little cave with all your little trinkets. Sounds like the dream to me. Except my dream is is doing this full time and becoming fucking uber famous giant, right? I was born too late for the Age of Sail and pirates. I'm born too early for exploring the stars, but I'm born at just the right time for me to be fucking uber famous online, and spread my message and all that other shit, and do what I want.
Sensually with the sensitive effete Carponzi. This is also one of his hallucinations, so, do with that information what you will. Another one sees him imagining Thelma and Louising with his best buddy Gage. You guys remember what happened just before they drove into the canyon, though, right? And in other episodes, in other hallucinations, we have moments like these.
How do you feed a real man's hunger? Go big! Go burly!
Which, guys, you must have realized how this sounds, right? Also, side note, Bertram seems to hallucinate a weird amount. I would probably get that checked out. There's the fact that when he and Carponzi first met, Bertram began the homoeroticism.
I've got my eye on you, Mr. Bertram.
Unfortunately...
Look, as somebody that started doing YouTube only a year and a half ago, March of last year, go for it. Just, if you find an ending of how to wrap your ideas up, like in a MLA format kind of shit, of being clear and concise, that's just kind of what you do. Is you kind of wrap everything up and then you end it, or you can just end it abruptly, right? If that's what you vibe with, if that's what you want to do, just cut it at the very end. Just go for it. It's your video. It's your content. It's what you want to make. It's your passion project. It is up to you how you want to finish it and how you want to put it out to the world. It is not determined by other people if your thing that you work so hard on is put out there or not. So... yeah, then I also have a really bad way with ending things. My videos usually just end with a sudden blank screen of me saying bye-bye and showing my Patreons. So, I'm not the best at it about that, but yeah, and like, even if it doesn't get any views, right? It's the fact, it's the journey, it's one of the things about the journey that you went through to work on it that gives you satisfaction and gratification that you did something, you worked hard on it, and you put it out there, right? It's like closing that book or signing that art piece, right? And if you want to end it on a positive note, it might literally just have to be something like you looking into the camera or however, and just talking positive for like a few minutes before ending it. That's completely fine. That is 100% fine. So I guess that's even more weight off your shoulders of not exactly wanting to want to be popular. If you finish it and then upload it, that's it. That's the end of it. That's the satisfaction of closing the book, flipping the last page. Look, you are way luckier than me then, because I am stuck at 500 subscribers right now, and I upload daily. Besides the weekends, so. Well, okay, then I think the ending could just be you showing their room, beginning and then end, and having a voiceover of just some positive stuff. I mean, like, it can get better. You just have to work for it. And you have to just kind of put your mind to it, work through it, and eventually you can take a step back at the bigger picture and see how much you've done. Let me look at this real quick.
Hey, you. So, if you can't...
You've got a nice camera. I will say that. You have got a nice camera. That is crazy. That is actually dude, a video with almost 250,000. That's crazy. That is, congrats on that.
I'm taken.
There's also this flashback Beckham has to being fascinated with big burly guys as a young boy. There is, of course, his I love cock. Sorry, I love wood mug. Sure, it's there as a visual gag, but the joke is that Bertram loves wood. In the 5th episode, Bertram literally tries out some pickup lines on his construction site, Man Crush.
So, do you volunteer here often? So you like half-inch ply for shear wall, or you're an OSB man? Okay.
Hey, don't make this a prison hug.
Look, I'm not saying that by the end of this 6-episode run, the ironic stan culture visible in all this fan art even comes close to actually being reflected in the text. I am not saying that the shoe fits, but I am saying that there isn't not a shoe. Even for a right-wing show, as interested as this one seems to be in playing it safe, preserving a veneer of mass-market palatability, it seems odd that there's so much here that can be taken in this way. Some have forwarded the idea that this was all deliberate from the get-go, that their own viewer-side attempts at hijacking were mirrored during production. Rumors suggest the animation team the Daily Wire used is largely queer, and that they snuck some of this in there. And that is possible, but only to a point, right? Maybe a sneaky guerrilla vandalism campaign on the part of external animators could explain why those fantasy sequences slay so hard, or some of the other visual elements in question, but there is no queer animator responsible for the fact that those fantasies existed in the script, nor for the existence of the other written anchors for the queer Mr. Bertram reading. Largely, then, the call's coming from inside the house here. Decisions made by Adam Carolla and the Daily Wire are behind gay Mr. Bircham.
Just like Carl Ponzi is.
Initially, that does seem confusing, and I get it. It's easier to imagine this as sabotage than as an own goal. Why would this be the case? How is it possible that the quest to create a figure of peak non-woke manliness, a real guy's guy, is so treacherous? It's not like heteronormative masculinity is a fickle protean bundle of contradictions at the best of times, and that even good writers routinely fail at drawing on these archetypes without creating characters that scan pretty well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, show the example of fucking Iron Man and Captain America. That's one of the biggest queer ships in current pop culture.
As queer, right? Wait, no, what the fuck am I talking about? It's exactly that. So, how coherent is masculinity in Mr. Bircham? Men like Bircham should be gluttons?
While I admire the gluttony, syrup shots? Seems like a waste of stomach space. Anchors away. And by tonight, we better all away an extra 15 pounds. Hoorah!
But also need to fat shame kids.
Since when can you not fat shame? When we were kids, there was one fat kid in the class. Now they're all fat.
The make-believe military LARPing Bircham and the gang do.
That's actually fucking hilarious. Look, I don't fat shame. I think the only time I ever call somebody that is because I just don't like them as a person. But like, genuinely, the reason why people weren't like larger back in this guy's day is probably because they didn't have a sustainable like source of food.
Episode 2 is macho, but the next episode suggests funding arts instead of woodshop is the school being sissies.
Yeah, those pencil pushers needed to allocate more funds for the arts because they don't have enough lead in their pencils.
Good men are husbands, are monogamous. Isn't marriage sacred, but also wife bad?
I renounced my union membership. They force you to join, then they take your money and spend it on stuff you don't agree with. That's already my life. I'm married.
And also...
Wow, yeah, because a union is exactly like that. I think anyone who wrote that has never been in a union in the first place. Because guess what? You go to meetings for unions to decide on shit. By popular vote, you get to be in a union and decide to join. If you don't want to, you don't work there.
Also, getting laid is manly. Bircham's son, who the show imagines as a loser gamer in a state of arrested development, needs to rack up a body count.
PvP? I thought you could only get one of those if you had a girlfriend. And maybe you could get a girlfriend if you played a real sport. That button-mashing monkey is wasting his life.
He has over 50,000 followers.
Followers? What is he, a cult leader? Scratch that. Cult leaders actually get chicks.
But then he'll need to pretend otherwise once he's married.
And you know how many women I'd chosen to politely ignore?
Because that's how you man? Bircham became a man through yanking it.
Oh, they closed Spears?
Yeah, the bra section of their catalog made me a man.
Yet minutes later, his son is an adolescent loser for supposedly doing the same thing.
Ha! You tool! Your hand hasn't been on anything other than a joystick and something I won't say in front of Jeannie in years.
One episode sees the Birchams volunteering at Homes for Humanity, and the B-plot sees student aide Brad having to, quote, man up, face his fears, get a girl. But while that's happening, so is this.
Consent with your neighbor first, please. Thank you.
Not doing that. What? I barely even hold your hand.
So, getting women is masculine, but being with them is not? Being a good man is also being a good dad.
Eddie's earache got worse. He might need an operation. Do full-time teachers get health coverage?
Yeah, we get it, and it sucks.
Sometimes a man has to do what he needs to do, not what he wants to do.
You're a good dad, Birch.
But Bircham's hardly a nurturing presence.
Strike three, you're out!
I guess
it's almost like conservatism and right ideology is nothing but a self-consuming fucking Ouroboros, right? It eats away at itself and it's full of contradiction.
being a good dad is insulting your son until he learns to insult you back?
Noob. Insulting me and sweating? Finally, the son I've always wanted.
Let's take a step back. Masculinity is... Alright, no, let's just say it's a slippery thing at the best of times. And this isn't the best of times. These are not the...
Here's a simple thing. Masculinity is what you want to define it as. It is what you want it to be. In my mind, masculinity is being myself. Being strong. Not to say that anyone else cannot be strong, but it's the self-confidence in oneself to stay strong and to help others and so on and so forth. And yeah, that can align with femininity too. But that's the whole thing. That's the point. It's labels. It's labels that we self-define ourselves. There is no black and white. It is all just a bunch of different boxes that we want to tick, and then that we define those ourselves with certain labels. It's all just a bunch of stuff invented by society, right? I don't consider myself less of a man because I shave constantly. Or I wear certain types of clothes makes me a man. I'm a man because I want to be one. I'm a man because I affirm with that gender identity and that body type and all that other stuff. So, it all comes down to that.
The best of writers. And so, instead of being sanded down, contradictions stick out. Signifiers lose their solidity. Does being enamored by other men's successful performances of gender denote a longing to do the same, or a longing for them? Does a mustache signify old-school manliness, or something else? In Mr. Bircham, instead of coalescing into the consistent, stable, empowering thing masculinity is often imagined as in the conservative mindset, lines blur and tropes drift. Its supposedly statuesque form is allowed to sag and denature. Gender is performed, but accidentally, as a farce. So when I say Mr. Bircham is queer media, I'm not just supporting that hijacking, the ironic appropriation of the show by queer readers, the fan art. I'm not just saying it's queer media by consensus. I'm saying that the ideas and assumptions underpinning this season of TV fit together so poorly that they practically beg the viewer to deconstruct them. I'm saying that in...
Yeah, when something is really, really, really badly written, it typically ends up that way. It typically ends up with fandom filling in the blanks. It ends up with fandom writing interpretations and interpreting things that weren't there to begin with because of poor fucking writing. Look at most of, like, not Tolkien, Rowling, right? Rowling's like shit, right? There's been dozens of videos about how her shit doesn't really make sense in terms of world building, but the fandom saved it because people were so enamored by it that they started filling in the blanks themselves, and now it's become a cultural phenomenon.
Spite of itself, Mr. Bircham paints patriarchal masculinity as a hostile and often nonsensical thing. I'm saying that in spite of itself, there are moments within the text that apprehend and communicate the performativity of gender.
This is no time to be gay. Veterans Day is for dressing up in uniforms and marching in parades. In the manliest way possible.
I'm saying that in spite of itself, the Daily Wire's Mr. Bircham acts as queer media. It's not on purpose. It's not as a result of the choice to add a gay character to that second episode. But it is kind of there, right? And so there is, I think, a very real sense in which the show's ironic queer fanbase, with every image, every M-preg fantasy, liberates a more complex Dick Bircham from the slipshod heteronormative masculinity the structure of his show tries to impose upon him. As we've seen, to do this, to act out these gestures of liberation, is to pick up on and amplify tensions and cracks already existing there in the text. They're just hidden behind a season's worth of anti-woke strawmen and the worst jokes you've ever heard. Hey, you've made it to the end of another Pillar of Garbage
Hi,
video
Pillar of
episode. Good job.
Garbage.
Go get some snacks, rehydrate. I swear to God, this is the last time I'm touching Mr. Bertram, so you can all breathe a sigh of relief. And hey, I've already had quite a few new Patreon/YouTube membership sign-ups.
Haha, Mr. Bertram, I just realized the fucking pun behind that. Birch is wood? Bertram? Haha. But then again, I doubt that they were that creative behind that name.
From that last video, and guys, thanks so much. It really does make a huge difference. You're all the Carponzies to my Bertram. Huge shoutouts to all my supporters as usual. There's a cut section of this video too, you can read by signing up there yourself. Thanks in particular to Hanan, Daniel Goldhorn, Magath, Something Something Capitalism Bad, Thomas R, and Willie Beardy, and I'll see you all soon for a non-Daily Wire related video, I promise.
Probably both. Probably both. But then again, I don't think that I would I'd give them that much credit on creativity. All right, what's going on with the election?
So we don't like that.
Earlier in the day, after he voted in Palm Beach, he told reporters the process had been fair so far.
If I lose an election, if it's a fair election, I'd be the first one to acknowledge it.
But CBS News has learned...
Yeah, if it's a fair election, right off the bat, we caught Trump in a lie, because suddenly, remember 2020? He said that election was fair whenever he was running, but then suddenly it wasn't fair, and he should have won.
After he lost the last election, said he was unconcerned about violence this time around.
Of course there'll be no violence. My supporters are not violent people.
His supporters have...
My supporters are not violent people. Do not pay attention to how they mostly are the ones that own guns in America. Don't pay attention to that.
Eating the dogs.
And
they're eating the dogs.
Of his opponents that rile up his base. That continued up to the very last rally last night. In this case, against Nancy Pelosi.
She's an evil, sick, crazy. Oh no. It starts with a B, but I won't say it.
He's suddenly not allowed to say that, but he can say that you can grab people by the pussy. Oh, you know, and Tim Walz is allowed to say that he's batshit insane. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
It was remarkable to see that rally shouting the B word at his final political rally. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you. We have reporters spread out across the battleground states tonight, including in Georgia, where the first polls close at the top of the hour. CBS's Nicole Killian is in Atlanta tonight, and Nicole, voting in the area, I understand, was disrupted by several non-credible bomb threats for just a very short time. What are we learning?
Yeah, that's right, Nora. Well, as polls get ready to close here in Georgia, there is a mix of excitement and cautious anticipation as we await the results. We're at a GOP watch party where state Republicans hope the former president flips the state.
The road to the White House runs through Georgia, and winning Georgia makes it very likely that he'll be the next president of the United States.
How much you want to bet that guy has wanted to say the N-word a lot, or his grandpa did, or his dad did a lot?
Metro Atlanta counties. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger told reporters these threats appear to be from Russia and were not deemed credible. Some polling locations are extending their hours due to the disruption in
Russia. Oh, so it's Russia now threatening bombs whenever they had shit in the election? Fucking us being against Russia is the dumbest shit ever, because Russia is just as, like, capitalistic as we are. Instead of it being called corruption, it's just called the system over there. All of their oligarchs, all of their rich people are also politicians. All the people that own all the businesses over there are also the politicians. Unlike here in America, where they just have a stake in the businesses. I got no idea why he didn't say it. I don't know. I did not know. Not at all.
So many voters turning out today. Nicole Killian, thank you. Let's head now to CBS's Weijia Jiang. She is at a polling location in Philadelphia. All right, Weijia, we know Philadelphia is the big electoral prize tonight with 19 electoral votes. What are you hearing from officials there?
Well, Nora, it's great to be with you. Voters tell us they understood the assignment in this critical battleground state, and officials tell us that turnout...
I think I'm going to stop the stream right around the top of the hour, which is only about 10 minutes, because I do not think I want to stream for another 3 hours until 8:30, and then it'll still be some time before the votes are counted. But man, oh man, I will definitely be recording my reaction and making sure that the audio is good. Thank you, Casey, for pointing that out on my video. I'll probably actually re-upload that video with better audio.
Voters, especially men who usually do not go to the polls. Voters across the state say they are feeling the pressure along with excitement.
I have immense anxiety about it. I actually lost sleep about it last night.
I mean, it's going to be a tight race, just like 2020 was, 2016.
I'm actually going to do that right now.
You know, we do what we can, we go out and vote.
According to a CBS News analysis here in Pennsylvania, Harris has banked a lead with mail-in ballots up by roughly 500,000 votes. Nora?
Weijia Jiang in Philadelphia for us tonight. Thank you. Let's turn now to Battleground, Michigan, where the Secretary of State says the turnout there is off the charts.
Thank you for the, I should actually, thank you so much for the, oh, fuck, I'm so tired. What is the word? Or reach out. I don't add people on Discord. I try and keep my Discord circle pretty small. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. And thank you for the company here watching with me and everything. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now I can quickly do this. And it's going to be down for just a second. Okay, there we go. Now I can turn this back on. There we go. My fucking tabs, my second monitor is so messy right now. Let's put that up to 8. Yeah, that should work. And then let's do Control M. Come on. And export. Should only take 5 minutes.
Close early and they count quickly. Why is this collection of 2 states so important to the Trump campaign, Nora? 8 visits by the former president in the last week of this campaign to Georgia.
I do not mean to be rude at all to this guy, but is this guy's eyes, like, off tilt? Like a little... One's a little higher than the other? Like, noticeably so? I think I might just be tripping.
Maybe not dramatically early, but we get a clear sense of the evening there. 5 visits by Kamala Harris to Michigan in the closing week of the campaign. A huge priority for that campaign. So, Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan will begin to tell us the tale of the evening.
Is there anything in these exit polls that give us a sense about how this night may shape up?
Again, these are preliminary exit polls. We want to be careful not to overcharacterize them, but we do have some areas of emphasis for the two candidates and their supporters. Let's go first to Harris voters. Most important issue for Harris voters: democracy and the preservation thereof, 58%. Abortion and abortion rights, reproductive health care generally, 22%. Economy, 12%. On the Trump supporter side, most important issues for Trump supporters: economy, 49%. Immigration, 21%. Preservation of democracy, 13%.
All right, Major Garrett, so glad to be with you tonight. Thank you so much. And the nation's capital is the site of some extraordinary security measures for election night and beyond. Voters concerned about security, potential violence. We'll have more when we come back.
We are the world's laughing stock. We are the world's laughing stock, man.
I had progressively fallen deeper into the world of online sports betting.
The risk is the rush. What do you think is driving the spike in popularity? I think it's legality.
If it's legal, I'm going to use it. There are ways to bet when you are 18.
We've created an epidemic of child gambling.
You can't walk into a male dormitory in a college campus without sports betting happening.
It's America's most neglected problem.
The only reason why sports betting and gambling is such a big issue in the first place is because the wealth inequality all throughout the country. If the wealth inequality wasn't that bad, we wouldn't need people to be gambling to make a livelihood. They'd only be doing it for fun. I think gambling is a perfectly fine thing to do when you aren't risking your fucking house and home and livelihood. Right? Putting down a few dollars to win a few bucks, that's fine. But most people go gamble because they want to make money, to make it big, so that they can get out of the shithole that they were put in because of this country. Apple Podcasts.
Documentary from CBS reports.
Imagine yourself in Manhattan with no police, no army, no mayor.
The people of Haiti stare down poverty, corruption, natural disasters, and violence.
90% of the guns that are used by gangs in Haiti are American guns.
But with an unbreakable spirit and eternal...
Wow, I wonder why Haiti's in such a bad position. I wonder if there's a particular thing that may have happened in Haiti that has never been truly resolved or, helped or anything along those lines. I wonder if that's ever happened in Haiti. Clearly not. Clearly it's because of gangs. Clearly it's because of natural disasters and corruption in the government. Nothing else.
Clearly, more CBS Mornings.
About 30 bomb threats, all apparently fake, have targeted election-related locations nationwide. Law enforcement sources tell CBS News, and CBS's
supposedly fake. I guarantee a few of those were real, but they just have to keep it under the radar.
Hundreds of National Guard have been deployed across 15 states, Nora, and in Washington, D.C., even more on standby. And earlier today, U.S. Capitol Police arrested a man that they say arrived at the visitor center smelling like fuel. He was carrying a torch and a flare gun. Authorities say they don't believe the incident is connected to the...
I said this in the very beginning of the stream. What the fuck do you mean it's not connected to the election? A man just so happens on November 5th roll up to the Capitol, covered and smelling like gasoline with a torch and a flare gun on him, and it's not related to the election? That's one of the biggest problems with Democrats, is that they try and like say in such sanitized language and fence it and say, well, it's not confirmed, and they never use really strong language. It's, oh my god, it's annoying.
I'm a voracious consumer of information and news. I am constantly curious and constantly want to learn. I know I personally want to know the basic facts of every issue and to press into the heart of the matter. Information is the currency of democracy, and that's what we bring to the table every Sunday.
The justices ruled that Harvard and the University of North Carolina violated the Constitution.
In the aftermath of the Supreme Court decision to end affirmative action in college admissions, uncertainty sets in for some students of color.
Affirmative action really gave us an equal opportunity.
CBS Reports explores the history.
That's so stupid. All this affirmative action and everything. Yeah. Because most people were raised in America, whenever you actually talk about race, they're met with racism and colorism and all sorts of other shit. That is an issue that needs to be amended.
It takes you inside the Vatican for a rare and extensive interview with Pope Francis.
Thank you very much.
He can speak English?
When you send out a Christmas card like this.
Yeah, let's do that.
I never realized that he could speak English.
If you can't get into the market, it's okay. Renting is
I only thought he spoke Italian.
That's a really good question. No one's asked me that yet.
You're 70 years old? 70, yeah. I'm 21.
Oh, I'm waiting until exactly whenever they announce that the polls in Georgia have closed, and that's when I'll end it. Which is exactly at 7 o'clock ET, or in 7 minutes.
Fatal accident. That's a 1% fatal accident rate.
Might make you look before you launch.
If you had 1 out of 100 airplanes falling out of the sky, we'd have a public crisis.
Space tourism, now streaming on the free CBS News app.
Need more time with 48 Hours? Go deep behind every true crime episode with first-hand accounts from 48 Hours Investigations.
Were you at all prepared for what happened in this case?
Shock is the word that comes to mind.
Get inside the twists and turns and get in on the case. Listen to Postmortem from 48 Hours, now available wherever you get your podcasts.
Superstar approaching, superstar approaching.
Just get your popcorn and get ready.
Come on, Julia. Oh, no. I will if you will. You go, gal.
We watched battleground states. As we mentioned, Georgia polls close in just minutes, followed by North Carolina at 7:30 Eastern. Pennsylvania will start posting results at 8 p.m., followed by Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan at 9 p.m., and then Nevada at 10 p.m. And that brings us to the all-important numeric path to the White House, the winner of the presidential election. As we know, 270 electoral votes. Ed, I'm so glad you're here. So let's game this out, because Georgia and North Carolina, we could know pretty early in the night.
Both campaigns and state officials expect that by the end of the night, when most people in the East at least go to bed, yeah, we may know ultimately who won. Let's say, for the sake of argument, this is the map where both parties agree things stand. She has 226 electoral votes. He has 219 to start. For the sake of argument, let's say he gets Georgia, North Carolina, which, remember, was the closest one he won by 4 years ago, which is why it's a battleground now. And ultimately, when all is said and done, Pennsylvania, that would get him to exactly 270.
Well, we may not know Pennsylvania for days, so let's put that back. So then what happens?
Let's say in the next few days, Arizona, he could get Arizona, and say ultimately that wouldn't be enough. So let's say things go his way in Wisconsin. That would be another way it could conceivably happen. This is typically a powerful Democratic state. And what many say Harris has to do is win the blue wall states that President Biden won 4 years ago, those Midwestern states, where Democrats are pretty good at winning statewide. So let's say she gets Wisconsin and Michigan, and eventually, when all is said and done, Pennsylvania, that would get her to at least 270 electoral votes. That's the easiest way for her. Working his way up the I-95 corridor is the easiest way for Donald Trump, but as you know, nothing about this cycle has been easy.
And that's why we'll be here all night.
Exactly.
The thing that all I gotta say is that no matter who wins, it's either you're going to get shit fucked immediately if it's Trump that wins, or you're going to get shit that gets fucked over the next 4 years with Harris. That is the way that it's going to work.
Washington is the seat of power, national security, foreign policy,
Dude, it hasn't even been fucking constant ads. Jesus Christ. Jesus. That is fucking crazy. Alright. Got 5 minutes left until the polls close. And I'm pretty sure my polls around my, see what happens. See, I will say this. I'm going to say it now. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon, and I also have a Cash App if you can financially support. You do not have to. I will not force anyone to do so. So, yeah. It's only 4 minutes until the polls close, and then I can quit quit streaming.
Listening to you and bringing your voice into our coverage.
I want a strong, proud America.
Is democracy on the ballot in 2024? Let us help you decide.
America Decides on CBS News 24/7.
Stream our expanded one-hour program Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
An original documentary from CBS reports.
AI is among the most world-changing technologies ever.
Curing diseases, scientific breakthroughs, making lives better.
They can help us with medical discoveries, scientific discoveries, doing better agriculture, having cures for things like Alzheimer's.
It's also going to really transform the way we...
Yeah, that would be true if it wasn't for the fact that most of it is just used to fill and line pockets.
That is non-judgmental. He makes me feel loved and desired.
And so are its downfalls.
The problem with all this AI is that it's unpredictable and uncontrollable. The choices we make now will have lasting effects for decades, maybe even centuries.
The ChatGPT revolution, now streaming on the free CBS News app.
We are about to see American weapons in the hands of Mexican cartels.
A gun pipeline to Mexico.
We are arming the cartels.
100%, no doubt about it.
Oh, fucking of course we are, because it's American people that are funding them and, like, smuggling them in. Duh.
No idea that we are effectively arming the enemy next door.
This is the story the American people need to know.
Arming cartels, now streaming on the free CBS News app.
I can see clearly, CBS Mornings.
Weekdays on CBS.
Yeah!
Tony, coming?
No, I'm gonna stick around for an hour.
CBS Mornings Plus with Adriana Diaz and Tony DeCopel, right after CBS Mornings.
It's just like mornings.
Plus fun.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. We look forward to seeing you in just 1 minute for our election night coverage. I'm Nora O'Donnell in New York. Stay with us.
Evening News. Y'all think that Biden's fucking quaking in his boots in that Oval Office? No, I don't think that Trump is gonna win.
America Decides is your place for fact-based, unbiased reporting.
At the White House.
Unbiased reporting? Are you fucking kidding me?
Our reporters and our anchors travel the country talking to voters like you
About the issues that matter most.
Immigration is really a factor right now?
That are going to be driving your decisions.
What would you say to those who say, look, that's just democracy at work?
Listening to you and bringing your voice into our coverage.
Oh my
I want a
god.
strong, proud America.
Is democracy on the ballot in 2024? Let us help you decide.
America Decides on CBS News.
The only way that it's unbiased is because it's asking both Republicans and Democrats.
5 p.m. Eastern.
There's a fucking gnat in my room.
Hey.
All right, we good?
Keep going.
The clock, it's ticking.
Off we go.
60 minutes. 60 minutes.
60 minutes.
It's time for 60 Minutes, Sundays.
Tonight, America Decides. Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump, control of the White House and Congress at stake. Our coverage of election 2024 starts right now.
Are we ready to do this?
We've been waiting
at this. 4 years.
Vice President Harris.
This has not been about a fight that is against something. This is about a fight that is for something.
Former President Trump.
We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again.
CBS News, America Decides, Election 2024. Now reporting, Norah O'Donnell.
Good evening and welcome to CBS News Election Night Headquarters.
Hi.
It is 7 p.m. in the East, 4 p.m. in the West. And let's take a look at democracy in action. Voting is still underway in
Yeah,
much of the
this is not
country.
democracy.
And today is Election Day. People have been voting in record numbers for weeks. In fact, more than 85 million people voted early, and all reports today are that turnout is strong, and we could see a record surpassing the more than 160 million who voted in the last presidential election. We are going to share results with you as soon as
Only 160 million people voted last year. America has nearly 500 million people in it. That is fucking wild.
Voters have picked a Republican for the last 6 elections. In Vermont, CBS News projects Vice President Harris wins the solidly blue state. Polls have closed in Indiana, one of the reddest states in the Midwest, and CBS News characterizes this race as likely Donald Trump. And let's take a look at Virginia. It's still early, but CBS News characterized this as lean Democrat. It has been 2 decades since a Republican clinched the Commonwealth. Let's take a look now at South Carolina. Polls also closed there. CBS News rates this race as lean Republican. The Palmetto State, a reliably Republican state for candidates there, and it goes to Donald Trump. The big number tonight, 270. That's the number of electoral votes needed to win. And with those early results, the race to 270 shows Donald Trump with 8 electoral votes and Kamala Harris with 3. A big part of our focus tonight is these 7 battleground states. Here you can see all 7 of them in purple. That's where this election will likely be won or lost tonight, or, well, it could be in the days ahead. The polls just closed in one of them in Georgia, and CBS News characterizes this as a toss-up. Georgia may be the quickest to count of the 7 battleground states. We're going to dig in as those numbers just come in, but record turnout there and still a toss-up at this hour. You can see our CBS News team is here to cover the whole story of America Decides, who Americans voted for and why. Is there a historic gender gap tonight? Did young voters turn out? The political team here in New York will bring us the analysis all night long. Our Democracy Watch team is here in New York. And in our nation's
Democracy Watch team. What a bunch of bullshit.
And how those votes are counted. We've got it covered. CBS News has correspondents spread across the country at...
Okay. Yeah, I think we're in this stream here now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you came along, I just want to quickly mention that I have a Patreon at Deku Games is where that will be. And as well, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Thank you all who showed up today, including the trolls. That was fucking hilarious. Thank you so much. And also, if you want to support, those are the ways to do it. Subscribe, comment, hit the bell to be notified. I also have a Cash App if you want to support me financially through a one-time donation as well. The Patreon is as low as $2.50 a month. $2.50 a month, or you can join for free, and you will get a monthly shout-out every single month. So, again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, where we'll have word on who the next president will be.